Morning, everybody, and welcome to the second of the British Heart Foundation virtual London Marathon Training Days. I'm Keith, and I'm here with Debbie, and we're going to run through a few things to just help you on your journey. As we said at the beginning, this is going to be recorded, so if you don't want to be on your screen, then either switch your camera off now or have a picture of your dog with pink ears, which is the funniest thing I've seen for quite a while. If you've got any questions, then either type them in as we go along, and Debbie will give me a nudge and read them out if they kind of fit into where we are, or if not, we'll deal with them at the end. So yeah, so that's all good. But as I say, welcome. It's the second in a series of three presentations we're doing to kind of give you some advice at the right time a lot along the way towards your London Marathon. It's today we're going to look at your next phase of training. I'm going to just talk briefly about how things are developing and what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. And then Debbie's going to do a practical strength and conditioning class, aren't you?
So yeah, so I hope you're going to have your kit on, get ready to work hard when Keith's finished.
You don't need any special equipment?
No, I mean, just a mat, nothing more than that, and a bottle of water.
I mean, a mat's ideal. If you've not, the carpet will do.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that again, this is designed to be at an appropriate level for running, not perhaps something your PT would prescribe, which would be a bit more fierce and a bit more kind of trying to tire you out. This has got to be compatible to your running, so that's why it's quite beneficial to do this. When you do strength and conditioning, it's amazing the difference it can make to your running performance. I wish I'd done more of it. I tend to just run lots of miles when I was running, but definitely strength and conditioning plays a big part these days, and it also helps in terms of recovery and injury prevention. So yeah, very useful thing to do. So we'll come on to that later. So just to focus your mind a little more, we did this last time. It was 15 weeks to go. We're now down to 11 weeks to go. So it is really important that you make every one of those weeks count. We're still in the building the base phase. We're looking for good consistency. What we want to do is make sure that we're getting out there and doing the training. The thing with endurance running, the thing with preparing for a marathon, there are no shortcuts. You know, people think, well, you know, I've seen the magazine cover saying, yeah, get fit for your marathon with 6 weeks to go. It doesn't work like that with endurance running. It requires just the dull effect of just doing it, but at the right consistency, at the correct intensity, and doing the right training. There's lots of experts out there. There's lots of great advice from lots of people, or they consider it great advice. Only this week we had a lady who's training for London with British Heart Foundation. She contacted us, and she's got quite a bad calf injury. What have you been doing? Well, I went down the club and the running club, and they got me to do some sprints. And she doesn't need to do sprints, and it's resulted in an injury which we may just about recover from in time to run the marathon, but not at the level she was hoping to run it. So we don't want any setbacks. So making sure that you're doing, as we said, the right training. If you're not sure whether you got the right plan or not, then our plans are there for you guys to have. All you have to do is contact us at the email address you'll see at the end, and we'll make sure we've got a plan to suit you, your ability, your fitness level. We can all wish to be training much harder, but the problem is that is going to end up with some sort of illness or injury. And what we don't want is blocks of time missed in the build up to London when we've got 11 weeks left. So marathon training, as I said last time, it's the sum of the parts. It's not just about the long run. It's about a series of things which all go to make you a really good endurance runner. So it is endurance. Yes, it is good conditioning. It is speed endurance. It is making sure that you're flexible, that you don't get any setbacks, and things like nutrition and hydration and rest play a really important part in that. As Tracy said in the last presentation, you're fueling the machine correctly. is really important, and making sure that you've got the right level of protein and the right quality of protein in your diet for repair is important. Making sure that you've got the right quality of carbohydrate for fuel is important, and staying sensibly hydrated. And you can do a lot with your nutrition to help avoid injury, to help recover, and also, if necessary, to lose the odd pound if you think you're carrying a little bit of excess. So all those things are important, and good flexibility. As one gets older, as you do a little bit more training, then you tend to find that muscles tighten up, you get a little bit stiffer. And if you don't do any stretching or any mobility work at all, you just get tighter and tighter and tighter. And that is when you run the risk of getting an injury. So it's the sum of the parts. So what are we looking for that we need to work on over the next few weeks? Endurance, yes. We've got to get used to that time on feet. I'll come on to the long run in a minute. We need the good running efficiency and running economy so that we feel comfortable, that we feel like we're flowing when we're running, that it's not that kind of hard work that it sometimes can be. We want good speed endurance, not to be confused with speed. It's speed endurance. Again, I'll come on to that in a bit more in a moment. And we want those muscles to be well conditioned so that they can carry us more effectively, especially as we get further and further into the race. As we get more tired, and you will get tired. Everybody gets tired. When I ran 2:17, I got tired. It's just that I got to the finish a bit quicker than perhaps some of you may do, with all due respect. But we're all getting tired, and it's managing that fatigue. So if your muscles are well conditioned, if your core is well conditioned, you're able to carry yourself. You're able to stay in your running style for longer and better. And that just means you're more effective as an athlete. So you'll get to the finish a little bit quicker. And obviously, as I said, that good flexibility to help avoid injuries. So,
Oops, that's our little dog.
That's our little dog getting excited. So she wanted a guest appearance. So the long run, up until now, and even at the moment, what we've been looking to do is have the long run or long run walk, depending on where you are in your fitness levels, at an easy level, at a conversational level, because what we're doing is just developing that time on feet, developing your fatigue resistance while out on the long run. The long run is now, for those that are in one of our plans, the long run is now gradually, you can see, getting longer and longer. And the important thing is that it obviously has to do that to condition you for the big day itself. But what we don't want it to do is for you to be trying to jump massively, jumping half an hour in the amount of time you're spending out there, and finding that actually that last half an hour, my quads are seizing up or my legs are really sore. It's got to be a layering on process. And that's why this thing takes time, because you can't just go from running for 90 minutes to then running for 2.5 hours. You can try, but you're going to have a horrible time. So it is about that ease of running for longer, and the fact that your body has learned to adapt and accommodate that, and it now feels fluid. It feels relatively comfortable. I mean, let's be honest, going out for a run for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, it's never going to feel, the most wonderful thing in the world, and you are going to feel tired, but it is feeling more comfortable and more controlled. When you're on your long run, I think it's good to be practicing whatever energy you're going to use, whether it's gels or whether it's jelly babies or whatever, and try and practice those so you get used to consuming some energy while you're running. And also, if you can, trying, as Debbie just did there, some hydration on the long run as well. But so that's a long run. I'll come on to it a little bit more as well. Threshold's important to keep that in the plan, because that improves your speed endurance and that running economy. That will make you become a generally slightly faster runner, and that will mean that your long run will feel more comfortable, and your long run in turn will speed up because you've raised your running threshold in terms of speed endurance. A practice race. Now, some plans will have a practice race in, as in a half marathon. Some people will have had races that we've included in the plan because that's what they wanted to do. Some plans won't have a race in, and that's because you joined getting the plan later, and then it was my priority to say, so what do we need? Do we need training, or do we need to ease down for a race? But with a practice race, as in a half marathon, what we're trying to do in an ideal circumstance is to taper down for you then to go and run the best half marathon you can run on that day, and then get some recovery coming out of it before we go back into harder training. So that is the ideal for the people that joined and got their race plan early and have been following it. What that will tell us is what shape you're really in, and then if you let me know, send an email, which will be at the bottom of this presentation, then I can do some calculations and say, look, based on that, and if we can continue training well and everything falls in place, your marathon pace should be in this window. So, you know, if we can get you to run a 150 or 152 half marathon, then my estimation would be that you should be in good shape to run a sub-4 marathon. And that would mean that your marathon window pace I would be giving you would be between, say, somewhere between 8:50 and 9:10, depending on the day, depending on how you're feeling at different times during the race. It wouldn't matter if you sped up to 8:50s. Equally, occasionally it wouldn't harm if you slowed down to 9:10. So we can give you some guidance for the big day. If it's not in your plan, don't worry. If you give me some idea of your threshold paces, I can work something out from that as well.
Sometimes we put a time trial in, haven't we?
Yeah, sometimes we've put a time trial in when people haven't been able to find a half marathon. And again, that serves the same purpose. So if you're doing a time trial, or if you're doing a race, you know, take it seriously, do the taper, prepare as if it is a really, you know, solid race you're going to run. Give it your best shot. With a half marathon, I would advise, you know, getting through 7 miles at a controlled discomfort level, so that you, it's a bit like your threshold sessions. You know that you've got more gears, you know that you could push harder, but you're in control. You're on the cusp of kind of breathing, but not breathing too hard. So you're just keeping a little bit back. And then when you've gone through 7 miles, then look at the next 3 miles as the part of the half marathon where you really get to work and you really start to concentrate. And either you sustain the pace that you're on, or you try to push on a little bit by 10 or 15 seconds a mile. And then when you get through 10 miles, basically you got a 5K to the finish. So then it's a matter of, right, now I'm really going to race, and I'm close enough to the finish that I can be a little bit less cautious. Or you might be starting to feel really fatigued and you might just want to hold on to the pace you've got. But break that half marathon down into 3 segments. First 7 miles, next 3 miles, finish with 3.1. And as I say, let us know what the result is and we can work on that. Obviously, you want to keep the strength and conditioning in, which is appropriate strength and conditioning for runners. Debbie's going to cover that and show you what's going on there. And it never harms to have some Pilates, have some yoga, do lots of stretching, get a good sports massage, all those things just to smooth out any tight areas, make you feel a little bit more able to be mobile, which is going to help you carry yourself as well when you're running. So the long run, as I said, it's getting longer. It will continue to get longer. We've tried where we can, and the time allows, with the people that were at the party early, to give you a week where it reduces and then you go back up again in distance. But if you're finding that your long run is getting too much, if you find that you're getting stale, if you find you're getting a bit fed up, then it's time to contact me, and then I'll make the change and say, look, I think you need a little bit of an easier long run for that week. What you can't, you know, it's really hard to stare down the barrel of long run, you know, sort of, you know, 145, 2 hours, 2:15, 2:30, and all you see going into the distance is this longer and longer and longer long run. you do need a little bit of respite. It should still be feeling comfortable, controlled, conversational. But gradually, as we get into the next few weeks of the plan, you'll see we're starting to ask you, instead of running easy, to start to pick it up, run a little bit easy, steady. And then after we've done the practice race, we'll ask you to start to put some marathon pace practice in, which is why it's important for you to know what that marathon pace is going to be. So hence the half marathon time or the time trial. Get in contact, let me know. And how long is long enough for the long run? Well, people say, oh, it should be your last 5 long runs should add up to, 100 miles. That's fine when they're talking about an elite athlete who's perhaps out there, a couple of hours at most, perhaps doing that. What we want is for the long run to be long enough for you. And that means that it's not purgatory. It's not season calves or quads. It's not leaving you having to lie on the sofa for the rest of the afternoon. So it's manageable so that you can come off your long run and go back into training next week and the week after. So if that long run, the longest you do is 15 or 16 miles, that's great, because that's right for you. And will you complete the marathon? Absolutely you will. If you go too long and you're not ready for it, you run the risk of illness, injury, or just staleness, fatigue. So be careful about the long run. Don't get obsessed. As I say, your long run's going to develop with a little bit of added intensity in there. Really important to keep threshold in your plan, because that helps. It does develop sustainable speed, and that has a knock-on effect. It makes you faster over 5K, 10K, half marathon, but it will also help you feel easier in your long run, and your long run pace speeds up because of it. So if all you ever do is just a long run at one ploddy, steady pace, yes, you're developing some endurance, but you might find that you won't get much faster because all you're doing is that one steady pace. Whereas if you do the speed endurance work with the threshold, and then you go to the long run, everything seems much easier and you've got faster. Remember, threshold running is not sprinting, it's controlled discomfort. So keeping the lid on it so that it's manageable, that's going to work because it's the correct intensity. You're not going to get injured, you're not going to get ill, and you're going to find it. It's going to help your running no end. And even when you finish this marathon program, to keep threshold in your training is going to make you a much, much better endurance runner because of it. Important thing is, lots of people want to give you great advice. Beware the expert in case you're being asked to do things that are not appropriate, not specific to your marathon build-up, and therefore could lead to problems. And you got to look at it and say, is it really going to help me prepare for what I'm preparing for on the day? And if the answer is no, then just ignore it. Don't do it. If you're not sure, ask the question. Send me an email. Again, running to perceived effort or heart rate, if we have that, rather than pace, means that you're running something that is good for you on the day. I mean, take today, for example, or tomorrow, if you go out and do your long run, it's going to be scorching hot. If you were trying to nail a pace and stick to a pace, you're just going to melt and eventually just wither. And it leads to, you'll be disappointed. It'll take an awful lot out of your body. Whereas if you're running to perceived effort, you're thinking, now, is this conversational? Could I have a chat to my imaginary friend? No, I'm going too hard. Well, pull back a little bit. So that's taken into account lots of things, the weather, the terrain, everything like that. So don't get obsessed with pace either. The pace will come if you're patient, and understand what you're trying to do every time you put your shoes on, and just keep the lid on it. I can't emphasize enough, consistency at the correct intensity is the key. And that consistency, week after week after week of training, is going to get you to run a really good marathon. Whereas running too hard, too often, it's not going to do that. You're going to get fed up, or you may even get injured. So these are the things really, from my perspective, for you to think about, and remember that it's all about the sum of the parts. Everything you do is about building towards the marathon. They don't give a gold medal out for one good session, one not so good session. You know, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have a long run that flows along and you feel great. You're going to have another long run that feels just a bit hard work. That's the way it is. But if you keep ticking the boxes, you're going to be consistent. It takes time. There are no shortcuts. We can't go out there and just play catch up. And those that are really behind and think they can just jump in with 6 or 7 weeks to go, they'll be in for a shock. It's hard work preparing for a marathon, and you guys are doing a great job. But if you do have a problem, let us know, and we can find a way around it in terms of helping you identify what it is, getting you to perhaps see a physio, changing your plan so that it's cross-training rather than running. It's how you deal with those little setbacks that means you'll either be successful or not on marathon day. And we've had people with injuries that have had to cross-train a lot. We've had people where we've had to pull back and change the plan because they're just not quite where they want to be. Equally, if you're finding the plan easy, comfortable, then let us know and we can perhaps push you on a little bit. But I hope that's been helpful. The next session we've got will be on the 4th of September, where we'll actually look at the final preparations leading into race day, the taper, and race day itself, the plan for pace, how to adapt that, what to expect, and nutrition strategies, etc. So unless there's any questions.
We've got a question about the half marathon. When is the best time to do it? And what should they be looking for when they're running? What sort of route should they be looking for?
Well, if we're going to race a half marathon, we don't want to do it too close to the marathon. So ideally 6, 7, 8 weeks out from the marathon itself is probably the kind of best area. What we're looking to do is to try and race the best half we can do, as I described. I think that's a sensible way to go about running a half marathon, and then we'll know what sort of shape you're really in. And then if you've been doing the other training, if you've been doing the threshold, if you're in good condition, if you've been doing the long runs and they're progressing nicely, we can say to you, right, this is what we want you to practice.
If it's on a flat route.
On a flat route, yeah. I mean, if you say to me, you know, actually it was a trail half marathon, it was a little bit lumpy, and you did X time, then I can say, well, okay, I think, you know, had that been on a flat road route, you'd have probably run a couple of minutes quicker. We can then work out the pace for you to practice on part of the long run to see how it feels in terms of marathon pace.
And some people have got half marathons later in their plan, haven't they, for practicing?
Yeah, some people have got, there are some later on where we've taken that information and they've got another half marathon where they're actually going to practice running at marathon pace for 13.1 miles. And we might well have a bit of a warm up for 2 or 3 miles and a bit of a cool down for 2 or 3 miles. So basically you get a really good long run, nice warm up, but the bulk is at marathon pace to practice how it feels. Because again, marathon pace should feel controlled. You shouldn't be breathing heavily because you cannot sustain that for 26.2 miles.
Brilliant. I think that's the only question so far. Let me just go and get myself ready.
Okay. So
people have got their kit on and ready to work.
You know, marathon, you're probably operating about 78 up to 80% of your max. So you are very much in control. If you're working too hard, and you will see people in the race working too hard, and they're just going to burn all their glycogen and they're going to run out of energy. So we're trying to eke out the energy we have in terms of against the pace we're trying to run. And if you push it too hard, you'll burn too much. But it is just that, being sensible and then trying to replenish some energy as we go along.
Brilliant. Okay, so we are going to hopefully do a nice conditioning session today. If you have any injuries, please don't try to work through anything. Today is also about learning as well, so you don't have to do work too hard if you have an injury or not things just don't feel right, please just don't carry on and try to work through the exercise. So today I've set up a session, just going to have a small introduction, warm up and mobility. Then we've got 20 exercises. I'm going to do them for a minute or thereabouts. You don't have to do them for a whole minute. It's just so that we can cover all ranges of fitness. So if you only want to do it for 20 seconds, that's absolutely fine. I'll tell you when it's 20 or 30 seconds and you can stop, have a rest, join back in or not, just wait for the next exercise. The only reason I'm doing it for minutes is because I'm absolutely rubbish at counting when I'm talking. So it takes that little thing out of the equation. So please just work as hard as you wish or not. It's about learning as well as working hard. And then we'll have a small cool down, a bit of mobility, and then we're done. So I'm going to take you into my room, get some water to hand if you want to have that available. And then I am also going to take it off the gallery view and put it on my speaker view so that hopefully you get to see me only. So let's see, here we go. There we are, that should work. So right, let me just, there we are, good. So this should be right now, excellent. So here we go. So right, let's start with a little quick warm up. So we'll just start standing tall. Let's relax our shoulders and let's take our head from side to side. So small half circles, just from side to side. Just going to start to warm up and mobilize the neck. So we're just going to do one more on each side, nice and slow, and then finish up in the center. Let's take our shoulders up to our ears. So we're just trying to warm up the back and the shoulders. So we'll do 3 in each direction, and let's reverse it and go 3 in the other way. One more. And then let's take our hands to our shoulders, take our elbows in, out and around. And then one more in this direction. And then let's go back the other way. 2. And then one final one. Let's take our hands to our head. Let's keep our hips facing forward. So we're just going to twist from side to side, keeping our hips square, hips forward, just nicely rotating through the lower back, just starting to warm up. Let's do one more each side. And then back to center, and let's drop this right elbow. Again, keep the hips still, and now the left. So again, we're just starting to try to mobilize and warm up. And we'll do one more on each side. Fantastic. Let's take our arms up to the ceiling, and then let's do some side bends. We're just extending it. Now we're taking our hips a bit wider. Again, just increasing the range of movement. Again, side to side. Let's do one more like this. And then the next time we go, we're going to take the arms all the way down through center and back up to the start. And then other way. Perfect. Okay, let's just do a little routine down to the floor. I really like this as a warm-up routine. It mobilizes and flexes everything that we need to warm up, put some weight through our shoulders. I'll talk us through. We're going to do 3 or 4 repeats. So hopefully by the time we get through a few, you'll have got used to what we're doing. So we're going to stand tall, chin to chest, tummy in, and let's just roll our hands down our legs. And we're going to walk out into our down dog. So our hips are in the air, heels are down to the floor. And then we're going to switch this into a high plank. Just drop the hips, hold it nice and strong. Drop the knees down to the floor. Sink our bottom back into a child's pose. And then through into a back extension cobra. Then flip the feet. Bottom goes back up in the air, back into your down dog. And then walk your hands through to the feet. And then back up to standing. We're going to do a couple more. It's a great way to warm up. So again, roll down. Walk out into your down dog. Hips are in the air, heels down to the floor. Switch it through into your high plank. Drop the knees. Sink the bottom back, child's pose, and then again into your cobra back extension. flip the feet, bottom goes back up in the air, and then walk our hands through to our feet. So this should be getting you nice and warm. At the same time, let's go again, as just flexing and extending the back. So roll the hands down, walk out into our down dog, switch it through high plank, drop the knees, in we go to our child's pose, and then round through, extension of the back, flip the feet, bottom back in the air, and walk the hands back through and back up to standing. Let's just do a couple of nice circles for the arms, and then let's reverse it back the other way. Okay, hopefully we're starting to get a little bit warmer. So let's just do a couple more things just to keep warming up and getting the blood flowing. So we're just going to do knee to elbow. So when we start our exercises for a minute, we're not trying to do a HIIT style. We're not, I mean, you can if you want to, I certainly won't be, but it's just more about building strength. So we're not trying to go for speed. We're trying to go for good form. Let's add a kick. We're trying to go for good form and build strength rather than trying to do a HIIT style exercise. But we're just trying to, at this moment, just to start to keep warming up. Okay, so let's take our legs wide, and we're just going to go from side to side and take the arms in a swing. We're going to do a couple of planks and things, so we want to make sure our shoulders are warmed up. Okay, just a few more, and then we'll get going. Let's do one more on each side. And rest it down. Good stuff. Okay, so here we go. Here's our 20 exercises coming up for a minute or so each. I'll talk us through each one. And as I say, join in for as long as you want. I'm going to do it for a minute each time. I'll give us a shout when we are at 30 seconds or so you know where we're at. Okay, so our first one is just some squats. So here we go. Going to keep our legs nice and narrow, and we're just going to squat down. So we want our tummy in, chest is up, head is up. I'm looking up, I'm not looking down at the floor. Bottom goes back, weights in my heels. And we're trying to sink our bottom low as we warm up. Trying to sink that bottom low, getting them down, warming up those quads, warming up the bottom. So that's halfway. Going to do just another 30 seconds, and then we'll move on to our next exercise. To work harder, you can have your hands to your head. Of course, you can use weights throughout everything. For the moment, just using our body weight, it's good enough. 10 seconds to go. Let's keep this going. Nice and low. Weight stays in the heels. Tummy in, looking up, chest up. Finishing in 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, our next one, a wider squat. So this time we're going to work the bottom a little bit more and the inside of the legs. Off we go again, 3, 2, and 1. So again, we're just squatting up and down, taking our bottom back. So when we squat, we're not coming over the knees, sticking our bottom back, tummy in, and get nice and low. Feet are at that 10 to 2 position. We're going to start to feel the inside of the legs warming up and the bottom. So let's keep this going. Again, we can have our hands to our head, but we want to get low. The lower we get, the harder we have to work to drive up. Great work. We've gone half a minute. We've got about 15 seconds to go. So let's keep working hard. We want nice strong legs. We want to work the glutes. We're runners. We need these legs to be strong. Okay, finishing in 3, 2, 1, and rest. Brilliant. Okay, so our next one, our back lunge. Great for the bottom, great for the quads. We're going to alternate. We're going to, when we step backwards, what we're looking for is a right angle in this front leg and this back leg. We're upright. We're not leaning too far forward. It's an up and down movement as we As we raise up, we're going to take that knee and drive it up. We can use our arms like a runner. Okay, we're going to alternate from one side to the other. Off we go, 3, 2, and 1. So back lunge, drive that knee forward, swap legs, and drive. Well done. So drive it up, drive it up. Right angles, front and back leg. That knee can tap the floor, or you can sink it down low. Doesn't have to tap, absolutely fine. Either way, so that's 30 seconds. If you want to stop now, we can also put our hands to our head and work just that little bit harder. If you wish, we want legs to be hip width apart. We don't want our legs to be behind us, we'll wobble. So we want a nice drive forward. Well done. So let's keep going. We're finishing in 5 seconds. Keep it going. Finishing in 3, 2, 1, and rest. Perfect. Okay, next one, curtsy squats. So this time we want our hips forward always. Shoulders and hips forward. We're just going to curtsy from side to side. Take one leg behind. This is the leg that's going to work as we drive up. Again, we can put our hands to our head. So let's get our breath. Off we go in 3, 2, and 1. So we're just going to go from side to side. To make it easier, you can have your hands as if you are running. If you want to work a bit harder, you can touch the floor. But we want to make sure our hips are forward. We're not twisting. We don't want to put any pressure through the knee. So facing forward, just side to side. And keep this going. So let's see what the time is. That's halfway. We can work harder by putting our hands to our head. Tummy in, chest is up. We're pushing through that front leg each time to drive up, making that quad do the work. Perfect. So even though we're not doing really quick reps, see the heart rate drives up, so good for conditioning. Okay, we're finishing, 2, 1, we're done. Brilliant. Okay, number 5, we want to start to warm up the hamstrings. So we want to feel it at the top of the back of the legs and then in the bottom. So what we're going to do is fold forward. So we're not squatting, we're folding. So it comes from the waist. As we fold, we stick our bottom back. So we're just going to do a move like this. We're folding. We're going to keep our legs slightly soft at the knee. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. So you can have your hands by your head. We're just folding forward. Tummy in, stick your bottom back. Head in line with the spine. So I'm not looking up. I want to keep my head in line with the spine. As I fold at the hips, I stick my bottom back. I start to feel the work just here. We want to have strong hamstrings as runners as well. Mostly it's our glutes that take over. We're strong in the glutes, but we also want to work the hamstrings. So that's halfway. Let's keep going. Hopefully it starts to layer on and you start to feel the work. Well done. Keep that tummy in. Keep that head in line with the spine and you'll start to feel the layering on effect in the hamstrings. Okay, 5 seconds to go. And we're done. Finishing in 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. So here we go. Let us get down to the floor. Do a few things on the floor now. So we are going to work the quads. So we're going to kneel down and we're just going to take our bottom down to our heels and drive up. So it's all in this drive, squeezing the bottom up. Drive and squeeze. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. So we want to tap the bottom to the heels and drive the pelvis the hips, the glutes forward. You start to hopefully feel the quads doing some work, also the glutes. Keep your tummy in, nice and controlled. And again, this is another one that just seems to layer on the longer you do it. So this is halfway. If you want to stop, please do. Have a little rest, have some water, and relax till we start the next exercise, or jump back in, of course. 20 seconds, so keep squeezing, pushing those hips forward. Hopefully these exercises will cover all the key muscles in the legs and the glutes that we want to work on. Okay, we've just got 5 seconds and we're almost done. Finishing, 2, 1, and rest. So, I don't know about you, but that always gets my quads working hard. Okay, so our next exercise, we are going to stay on the floor. We're going to do 1 minute per leg this time. So we're going to do 1 minute of taking our, I'll go this way, taking our knee out to the side, and then, sorry, half a minute, and then half a minute of kicks behind. And then we'll swap to the other side. So let me get my clock. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. So we're taking our leg out to the side. We want to try to get that knee to hip height. So try and stay strong in the upper body. Keep the elbows straight, the arms straight. Don't be bending and twisting. Keep the hips square. Drive that leg up. We've got 5 seconds, and then we're going to switch to doing our kick behind. So here we go, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're just going to kick. So bend the knee, keep that foot flexed. Don't sink in the tummy. Don't arch the back. Just take that sole of the foot up to the ceiling. Again, strong in the body, tummy's engaged. My gaze is to the floor. And I'm keeping that knee high, hip height, and up. Perfect. 5 seconds, and we'll do a straight swap to the other side. Here we go, 2 and 1. So, other side, other leg out. Drive that knee up, trying to get it towards hip height. Keeping my arms strong. Gazes to the floor. Okay, we've got 10 seconds, and then we're going to swap to doing our kick behind us. 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1, let's change, kick up. So again, keep that knee bent, keep that foot flexed. Feel the work in the bottom. That kneeling leg, we just worked it. So that might feel a little bit tired too. Completely fine and normal. 10 seconds and we're done. We've got a few more exercises for the legs and the bottom, and then we're going to do some work for the tummy. Here we're finishing in 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Perfect. We're going well. Okay, so here we go. Now let's lie on the floor. We're going to do a few little ones specifically for the bottom. So let's do some bridges. We've all done these before, I'm sure. We're going to lie on the floor. Head, neck, shoulders are rested on the floor. I'm going to take my feet closest to my bottom so I can feel my heels. And we're going to raise and do our bridges. So off we go, 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to take the hips up and then down we come. Tap the floor at the bottom, squeeze up each time. Push through the feet, through the heels, through the toes on the floor and squeeze up. Each time, squeeze that bottom up. If you want to work a bit harder, you can take your hands out of the way. You can have them up. You can have them on the floor. Taking them away just takes that little bit of extra help. So that's halfway. Let's just keep going. So squeezing up. We want to have that nice long line from the knees down to the chest. Squeezing up, bottom taps, pushing through the feet on the floor to drive up. 15 seconds. Let's keep working hard. We're almost done with the legs. Tummy is next. So we've got 2 more for the legs. We're going to finish this one in, hang on, here we go, 2, 1, and rest. Fantastic. Okay, and then our next bridge, we're going to take the soles of our feet together. My knees are going to be dropped out. So that's my start position with my legs. Back to lying on the floor, head, neck, shoulders are relaxed. Same thing I'm going to do. I'm going to bridge up and down, trying to keep my knees out as long as possible. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. So soles of the feet are pressed in together. Same thing, squeeze up, down we go, bottom taps, and up. So we're trying to work now the outside of the glutes. We need these area to be strong as well. Trying to keep those knees out as you squeeze up. Tap the floor with the bottom again, take your hands away if you want to work a little bit harder. And now we are just about at halfway. So we've got just this one to go and then a final one for the bottom. And then we're going to do some work for the tummy and the hips. So here we go, 20 seconds. So keep squeezing hard. Your bottom might be a bit tired. We've worked it absolutely fine. Stop as you need, jump back in, but try to keep those knees out as much as feels comfortable. Keep driving the hips up. Finishing in 3, 2, 1, and rest. Perfect. Okay, our last one for the bottom, and then we're going to have a quick drink of water and then do some work for the tummy. So we're going to lie on the floor. My head is resting on my hands. My knees, I'm taking them out, sort of mat width apart. I'm going to bend my knees, take my feet up, and I'm going to try to raise my feet up to the ceiling. So it's not a big move, but the bony parts of my hips stay on the floor, and I'm really only raising from the thigh up. But as you raise, you're going to squeeze your bottom and really feel that bottom working hard. Here we go, let's start, off we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So rest the head, squeeze those feet up to the ceiling, squeeze up. Make sure you keep breathing, don't hold your breath. Have a little rest at the top half before we work hard again. Squeeze that bottom, squeeze it up. Squeeze it and work hard, take those feet up. So that's halfway. Actually, that's halfway now. So you'll feel your bottom working, you might feel your hamstrings kicking in a little bit, that's absolutely fine too. But just keep working as hard as you can. And it's a hot day. So let's work hard and then jump in the garden and relax. So 10 seconds to go. So let's work hard for these final 10, really push through. Push through any pains, let's keep going, 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Brilliant. Okay, so let's have a little quick drink of our water. I think we all might need it by now, so certainly I do. And then we're going to do some work for the tummy, for this whole core area, and for our hips. So as runners, as you can imagine, we're putting a lot of work and effort and energy and impact comes through the hips and then obviously down through the legs. So we want this whole girdle to be strong. So these exercises are designed to help with that. Okay. Next one is our plank. I love the plank. Anybody that knows me knows I love a plank. We're just going to do simple ones today, just to get us, going. We're just going to do 30 seconds low and then 30 seconds high. You can do all sorts of stuff with your planks, and all of them are great, moving your knees, your legs, your arms, whatever. But let's just keep it simple for today. But if you want to extend your planks, they're a fantastic thing to do, particularly when we start to move something as runners. We want to be able to be on one leg and things. So, okay, so let's start low for 30 seconds, and then we'll go up high. So let's start in 3. I'm going to close this door actually. I think maybe that might be helpful. Yes, that is helpful, isn't it? There we go. 3, 2, and 1. So let's start in our low plank. So we want to keep our hips low. We don't want our hips up. We want them low. We're going to be looking at our hands. So not at our feet. So engage that tummy. Really feel like you're bringing that belly up into the spine, strong in the shoulders, and think as if we were going to try and put those heels on the floor. So we're strong all the way through. We've got 5 seconds when to go up into a high plank, so you might want to take your feet a little bit wider. Up you go, 3, 2, and 1. Up you go, straight into our high plank, and again, hold it. So we're looking at, our gaze is to the gap between our thumbs, strong in the shoulders. Really think as if we were bringing that belly up into the spine. So our hips are strong. We feel the tummy doing the work. Our heels like we were going to put them on the floor. And we've got 5 seconds left. Finishing it in 3, 2, 1, and rest. So if you can increase your planks, as I say, move a leg, move an arm, make it a bit more specific to running, that's absolutely brilliant as well. So let's do some work for the tummy specifically now. So we are going to lie on our back and we're going to alternate our legs lowering down to the floor. So we can start off to make it a little bit easier with our hands under our bottom. Our legs are up to the ceiling, head, neck, shoulders are relaxed on the floor. And we're just going to take one leg down and then the other. So here we go, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So we're just alternating. What we want to make sure is that our back is right into the mat, our tummy's engaged. We don't want our back to arch. We don't want to hurt our back. We want to keep our tummy engaged, looking up to the ceiling. One leg lowers, then the other. Start to feel that tummy doing the work. Well done. We need to have a strong core. So let's work hard. That's halfway. If you want to work a little bit harder, you can take your head up off the floor, put your head in your hands, and then look down the mat towards where your feet would be, and look down the mat, and you'll work just that little bit harder. So one leg, and then the other. We've got 10 seconds to go, so keep this going. Keep that tummy engaged. That back is into the mat. I'm not arching, and I'm just lowering one leg and then the other. Finishing in 2, 1, and rest. Excellent. Okay, so let's go on to our next one for our tummy. So it's the same idea. We'll start with our hands under our head, and we're just going to have one leg up, one leg down, and then we're just going to swap them at the same time. So that's our move. So here we go. Again, to start off with, have our head, neck, shoulders are relaxed on the floor. Let's go. 3, 2, and 1. Hands under the bottom, one leg up, one leg down, and we're going to swap and swap. Swap at the same time. They meet in the middle. As that leg comes into the chest, bring it in. Physically pull it in. You'll work the tummy just that little bit harder. That other leg that goes down to the floor doesn't touch the floor, it just hovers. So let's keep this going. Hopefully you're going to start to feel now your tummy is starting to complain a little bit, ignore it. Okay, that's halfway. If you want to work a bit harder, let's take our head in our hands, head is up off the floor, and we're going to look down the mat. And again, keep that tummy engaged. We want that tummy to do the work. So we've got 15 seconds. Keep it going, keep breathing. Well done. 10 seconds to go. Keep this going as best as we can. Don't let that leg hit the floor. Just work that bit harder. Here we go. Finishing in 2, 1, and rest. Brilliant. Okay, we've got 3 more for the tummy specifically, then a few for the hips, and then we're almost done. So we're working hard. Let's keep going. Our next one, I'm sure you've done this before 1,000 times, is, I'm just going to move my mat actually. I'm getting too close to the sofa. So we are going to do our cycles, crisscross type effort. Where are we going? There we are. So we are going to have our heads between our hands. My head is slightly off the floor, and I'm going to cycle. So one leg is straight, one leg is bent, and the bent leg, I'm going to have my opposite elbow come and try to tap it as I switch from one to the other. So I'm not going hell for leather. The slower we work on this, the harder we'll go. So let me get my clock. It's gone a bit funny. Off we go. 3, 2, and 1. So opposite elbow taps the knee. I'm taking my head up off the floor. My head is in my hands. And I'm taking my shoulder up each time, twisting through the waist. working hard. Tummy is engaged each time as I bring my elbow in. Breathe out as the elbow and knee are touching. Breathing out. Well done. Halfway. This is a toughie. Don't worry if you can't go all the way through. Slower you go, the harder you work the tummy. So let's keep going and work hard. We've got just over 10 seconds to go. So keep working hard. Get that shoulder up, in, to touch the knee. 5 seconds. Keep it going. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done, well done, well done. That's not Keith's favourite one, by the way. He hates that exercise. Okay, 2 to go. Now, for this one, you can do it without a weight. I call it my Charlie's Angels fingers. We're going to do our little Russian twists. So we're going to we can keep our feet on the floor, and we're going to twist. I'm going to show it from the front. We're going to twist from side to side as we take our fingers and tap the floor. Or you can have a weight or your water bottle, just to add a little bit of excitement. So let's reset and let's go again. I'll talk us through. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So you can use your fingers, doesn't really matter, but we twist. We're following our fingers with our head, with our eyes. So we're twisting through the waist. That's the move. We can take our water bottle. We want to add a little bit of extra weight, or a weight, or a pint of milk or something. But we're twisting. If you want to work a little bit harder, you can take our legs off the floor, but make sure your tummy's engaged, straight back all the time. So if our feet are off the floor, we just have to work that little bit harder. So that's halfway. Let's keep going. Tummy is engaged. Work hard, straight back. I'm not rounding at the shoulders. I'm straight. I'm engaged all the way through. Using your fingers to tap if you want. Just increase that twist through the waist. 10 seconds to go. Let's keep working hard. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Excellent. Okay, so I've saved the worst one to the last. I'm not quite too sure why I did that, but anyway, there we are. So we've got this one more for the tummy, then we've got a couple for the hips, and then a final cheeky one to finish. So have your water at any stage. Take a breath, and off we go. So this one I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to engage my tummy straight back. As I lean back, my arms are out straight. As I lean back, I'm engaging my tummy. I'm only going as far as I'm in control. Arms are out straight. As I come up, I'm going to bring a knee into chest. I go back down, other knee comes in. So I'm just going to alternate from one to the other. So this is our last one. Let's make it a good one. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. So down we go, down, and the knee comes in. Alternate which leg is coming in. So the lower you go, of course, the harder you're going to work. Here is also fine, if that's as far as you can go, but brilliant. We just want to keep moving, keep that tummy engaged, keep that knee coming in. So we are at halfway. If you want to work a bit harder, you can bring both legs in together. You can hover the legs. If you want to make it harder still, you can do a single, or a double, as you wish. Keep that tummy working. Don't be rounding at the back. Protect the back at all costs. So here we go, 5 seconds to go. This is our last one for the tummy. Work hard. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Brilliant. Okay, we're almost done. We've got 3 for the hips. We're going to work on one side, and then we're going to swap, just to increase the work that that side of the body is doing. We're going to do 30 seconds for each of the exercises. So let's start. We'll lie on the floor, or you can be on your forearm, or you can lie down, whichever feels comfortable for you. And we're going to start with our clams. So we're going to have our knees bent. Feet are going to stay glued together, and the exercise is we're going to open up the knees. So here we go, 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to do 30 seconds. Keep those feet glued together. Open up the knees. We want to open up these hips. We need strong pelvis, we need strong hips. Particularly for the marathon, this is the area that you're going to feel sore as the race continues. So we've got about 10 seconds, and then we're going to swap the exercise to a straight leg raise. Same leg, keep it going, 5 seconds. Get those hips open, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So same leg, just straight, up and down. So we want to lead with the heel, with the outside of the foot, the toes are facing forward. Straight line down the body. We want to feel the work here, in the hips and the bottom. We've got 10 seconds, and then we're going to change the exercise. Off we go, we're finishing in 3, 2, and 1. So with that same leg, I'm going to bring my knee in towards my shoulder and then push it back behind me. So let's go and push it back. So lead with that. So bring that knee in, push back with the heel. Bring that knee in, keep it at hip height and push back. Well done. Keep pushing back. We're almost done, and then we're going to swap sides. Then we've got one final one to do, and then we're done. So we've got 5 seconds. Keep pushing with that heel. Keep that leg at hip height. Finishing in 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Okay, let's change sides. Let's go straight in. We reset the clock, and off we go with our clams. So straight down the mat, knees are bent, and off we go. Feet stay glued together. Open up those hips. So knee comes up. See if you feel any difference from side to side. It's quite normal that you probably will. Most people do have a weakness in one side. Just gives you something to work on. But get those hips open. Get that knee up. Keep those feet together. 10 seconds. I'm going to change to our straight leg raises. Same leg. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Straighten that leg. Up we go. So lead with the heel. Lead with the outside of the foot. Toes are facing forward. If we're stretching, if we're pointing our toes, it's more of a stretch. We want this work to work. So we want to feel the work outside here. 10 seconds to go. And then we're going to bring in our knee to our shoulder and kick back. Here we go, finishing in 3, 2, and 1. Now we come in, knee to shoulder, push back with the heel. Keep that knee at hip height. Don't let that leg drop. You start to realize how heavy the legs are when you have to hold them up. Of course, you can add in weights, you can add in your band, you can increase the duration. These are great exercises for any kind of hip pains, any weaknesses. You just need strong hips, strong glutes as runners, and it's often overlooked. Okay, we are finishing in 3, 2, 1, and rest. Brilliant. Okay, our last one, just for some fun, but it's a great exercise. We're just going to do 2 30-second skydivers, just to finally work the bottom, work the tummy, just work everything really. It's a great exercise to do. So we're going to line our front, and we're going to hold a position as if you were skydiving off a plane. Couldn't think of anything worse, right? Keep it, there we are. So we're going to look to the floor. We're going to take our arms up. So we're trying to get our shoulder blades to touch, and we're going to raise our legs. So we want these thighs off the floor. We'll feel everything working in the back, in the bottom. So here we go. It's our last exercise. Let us work hard. Let me get my clock. And let's go. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. So hold that position. So head is looking to the floor. My arms are like in a W shape, trying to get my shoulder blades to touch. My legs are up. Bottom is squeezed. Thighs are off the floor. The bony parts of my hips are on the floor. We've got another 10-ish or so seconds. Then we'll have a rest, and we'll do one final one. And then we'll start our cool down. So finishing in 3, 2, 1, and rest. Let's take 15 seconds to rest. Just put your head in your hands and we'll do one final one. Make sure you keep breathing, don't be holding your breath. We're going to go again in 5 seconds. Off we go, get ready. 2, 1, let's go. Up. Just our last bit of strength work, so let's make it count. Gazes to the floor, get those shoulders up, get the chest up. Raise the legs, squeeze the bottom. And keep breathing, don't hold your breath. We have got about 10 seconds. So squeeze the bottom, get the legs a little bit higher if you can. The chest a bit higher, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Off we go, we're finishing, hooray. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done. The hard work is over, we'll have a quick rest. So just rest here for a second, get your breath. Put your hands by your chest and just push up to where it feels comfortable. We just work the back quite hard, we want to be a little bit protective. Now let's sink our bottom back into a child's pose. Nice and slow, no rush. So sink your bottom back, feel that nice work, that nice stretch rather in the back. And now let's walk our hands to the left, put my right hand on top of my left, put my head in my arms, and then we should feel a nice stretch through the side of the body. And just gradually cool down, get your breath back and relax. Just hold this for a few seconds. All of these ones you can hold for longer, but we've all got things to do today, so we won't make it the longest cool down. And then let's go to the right. So take our hands to the right, put our left hand over our right. Again, feel that stretch down the left-hand side. And then let's walk back to center and then come up onto our all fours. So let's take our right leg forward. So we've got a nice 90-degree angle front and back. And then we're just going to do a little bit of stretch for the hips and for the hamstring. So we're just going to lean forward. We want to feel a nice opening here. My knee's not coming over my foot. We want to just feel that nice stretch here. And then sink our bottom back towards our heels, straighten that front leg, and you should feel a nice stretch for the back of the leg. You can take your toes up if you want to increase the stretch a little bit further. And let's just do one more. So again, stretch, opening up that hip, stretch forward. You can add in side bends, of course, it's absolutely fine. And then finally, let's stretch that front leg. And then let's swap legs. Let's take our left leg forward. And again, sink. Feel that stretch, opening up the hips. And then let's straighten that front leg, drop the hips, bottom down towards the heels. You can put your hands here, support your weight. Feel that nice stretch at the back. And again, one more. Let's just lean forward. Hopefully your breath is coming back down to normal. And then take our bottom back, final time. And now let us sit on our bottom. Let's have a little window wiper. So we're just going to take, I'll come face on. We're just going to take our feet a bit wider and we're just going to drop our knees to the floor, twist through the hips. Should feel pretty nice. And then just do one more each side. And then let's do a little sitting pigeon. So we're going to take one ankle across the other knee, bring that leg in. That should just feel nice. You can also press that knee away. You can do this lying down in different versions, it's absolutely fine. So push that knee away, you'll feel a nice stretch in the hips, in the glutes. Oh, that feels nice. And then let's change legs. So swap the knee, swap the leg, the ankle going over the knee, bring that foot in and then push that knee out. You should feel a nice stretch around here. Sitting tall. Okay, we're almost done. Let's just hold this for a few seconds. And then our final stretches on the floor. So let's bring our knees into chest. Just to stretch out the bottom, the lower back. Now let's take the left leg straight. Keep that right knee in to chest. And now take it across the body. to the left-hand side. My left hand is trying to encourage that knee down towards the floor. My right hand is out straight in a cross shape, and I'm going to look towards my right hand. So you should feel a nice stretch and twist through the lower back. Doesn't matter how low that knee is going. If it's up here, it's fine. Just take it nice and gently. Don't try to do too much. Just go with what feels comfortable. And you can hold this for a good period of time. It's a great stretch. But let's just today hold it for a couple more seconds and then bring that right knee back into chest, and then let's swap knees. So that left knee's coming in, my right leg is straight. And I'm going to just move a little bit. I'm going to take that left leg across to my right hand side. My right hand is trying to encourage that knee down towards the floor. Left hand is out, and I'm looking at my left hand, feeling a nice stretch through the back and through the bottom. Lovely. Let's just hold this for a few more seconds and then we'll get to our feet and finish up standing. So let's bring both knees to chest again, just have a little rock. And then let's get to our feet. So let's stand up. Let's take our arm across to one side. We've done a few planks. We wanted to stretch out the shoulders. And then let's take it back behind for a tricep. And then let's go to the other side, take the arm across. And then again behind. And then let's take both hands behind us, push down and back, chin up. Feel a nice stretch through the shoulders. And then our final stretches. You can hold on. Let's take our knee down to the floor, standing up, heel towards the bottom, nice stretch of the quad. So tilt the pelvis just slightly forward and you'll feel a little bit of a deeper stretch. And then let's go to the other side. I don't mind you holding on at all for these. These are not balances, these are just stretches. So if it helps for you to keep your balance, hold on. Take that knee down to the floor, heel towards the bottom, tilt the pelvis just slightly, feel that stretch deeper in the quad. And then let's just have a couple of nice big circles. And we're done. Well done, everybody. We've worked really hard today. So you should be pretty pleased. These are the kind of exercises that we need to do as runners. So I hope you enjoyed it. We hope to see you at our next session in September. In the meantime, of course, keep in touch. Any questions, just drop us an email, get in touch at any time. But in the meantime, enjoy your weekend and the sunshine. And we will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.